I'm going to call up Cohen. Come on up here, Cohen. Cohen's going to lead us in a prayer before we eat. Okay, we will, once Cohen is done, we'll dismiss you by tables, okay, to get food. You bring your food back, about 20 minutes, half hour to eat, and then after that, we will get started with our presentation. So here is Cohen. There you go, buddy.
Please bow your heads before we eat prayer. Lord, we thank you for keeping us safe as we travel here today, Lord God. We thank you for the food we're about to eat, and we thank you for each other. We thank you, Lord God, for the wonderful sport we call football and our ability to play it. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Good job, bud. Thank you, Cohen. Okay, at this time, I'm going to release the tables. Okay, we're ready to get started. Okay, I hope everybody enjoyed their dinner. Like I said, this will be a little bit different than normal, okay? Right now, I'm going to go ahead and we're going to start introductions, okay? Usually the parents are all here, girlfriends, family members, everybody's in one big room. Unfortunately, this year, because of COVID, we can't do that. So I'm going to go ahead and introduce, we're going to start the program like normal. Okay, and then we'll kind of veer left a little bit. So first off, I'll start with thanking some people, okay? And usually I put these people last just because that's the order in it, but I think that it needs to be mentioned first is our Booster Club members, okay? And our Booster Club board. Okay, without these great people over here, this would not have been possible tonight. I want to thank especially Brian Rogers, Rochelle Cummings, Leslie Anders, and then Carrie Lyons, okay? These four individuals and with a couple others have worked extremely hard the past month to make sure that this happened. There was a time when this wasn't going to happen at all, but they worked with the Huber's restaurant where we're at today, who needs another big thanks, but for their hard work to make sure this still happened this year is awesome. So I want to give them a round of applause real quick, okay? And Mr. Rogers will get up, and this is a left turn thing. You can get up and say some words at the end. Usually our president of the Booster Club gets up and talks to your parents. Having said that, since we don't have parents here today, he can still get up and get some kind words out because we are filming this and this is live streaming, okay? So he didn't know this, but he's got to speak twice tonight. So good job, Brian. The next people I'd like to thank is our coaching staff. This year we've had 12 great coaches, and a couple of them are here tonight. I'll start with the ones that are here right now. We have Kyle Salmons, who's our freshman coach, Alan Hess, who is our DB, defensive coordinator, Todd Kessinger, who is a freshman defensive coach, Rick Bannett, who also helped out with offensive line, defensive line, and a freshman coach. Those are the gentlemen that are present right now. I also want to thank Jamie Polk, Mark McKay, Jim Abel, Michael Buckheiser, Bryce Smith, Donnie Gumble, who unfortunately couldn't make it to this meeting, this banquet, and then also Brian Schneider. Those gentlemen right there make my life easier, not just in practice, but also all along. Some of them even accidentally get COVID on a bus for us this year to make sure that we got there safely. So I appreciate everything these guys do on and off the field. Okay. The other person I'd like to thank, she's sitting right in front of us right now, is Becky Clifton. She's our student, not our student, excuse me. She's our trainer. Okay, Becky works a ton of hours. Some of you guys probably know Becky, unfortunately. Becky, I always said, she's a great person to get to know, but sometimes you get to know her a little too much because you're hurt too much. So she's one of those people that work behind the scenes for us quite a bit. You see her around. I appreciate everything she does for us. How many years you been doing this, Becky?
30.
30 years. She's been around. She's long. Here, okay. 30 years here. So we appreciate everything she does for us too, okay? Her student managers, usually she'll get up and talk, okay, at the banquet about her managers and what she does. But since they're not here, they're coming to the second banquet, I'm going to hold off on her unless you want to get up and say something. But we'll just hold off till the second banquet for her, okay? So Becky Clifford, let's give her a round of applause. Okay, at this time I usually go with our student managers, okay, and our filmers. We've had 6 this year. And a couple of these I'll talk about a lot more at the next one. Truly do mean a lot to my heart. And unfortunately they're not here, but I'm still going to say their names. Michael Fowler and Anna Polston are both seniors, and they've been with me since I've been here. And it's funny because when they came out, they were just young, and it's funny to see them grow, and I'm really excited for both of them to move on, but they will truly be missed, okay? We did have 3 freshmen that came to join our staff this year, and a junior. Unfortunately, they could not attend this one. Corey Hoover, Kayla Doherty, Jacob Granger, and Carly O'Leary. Carly will be at the next one, and so will Jacob, but the other 2 freshman managers weren't able to come and attend this banquet, but they need to be mentioned for all the hard work they do. I mean, they do a lot of stuff behind the scenes that a lot of people don't know about. They help out a ton with the uniforms, getting water ready, getting drill set up, making sure the clock's running correctly for practice, filming, uploading film. There's just a lot of things that they do that I don't have to worry about. It gets done, and it gets done efficiently, and I really do appreciate everything they do, so let's give them a round of a hand. Okay, next, is where we'll go ahead and get started with our freshman team. Okay, I'm going to ask Coach Sammons to come up, introduce the freshmen. Okay, Coach Bannett and Coach Briggs, come on up as well. Coach Sammons is going to talk a little bit about the freshman team. Once he's done talking about the team, he'll ask you guys to line up. We're going to ask this year, different hall, and I know you guys don't know this because this is the first banquet you've been to. We're going to actually line up over here. Okay, so if you can walk to the back, come around, line up in alphabetical order, and then we'll present you with your certificate and your plaques. So, Coach Sammons. Come here, Coach. Put that in your pocket. There you go. Oh. Hold on. Yeah, there you go.
All right. Thank you, Coach. So I would just like to express to you guys, and I'm not going to be very long-winded, how much it was a privilege to coach you guys this year. I really, really enjoyed it. Some of you may not think that because practice isn't always the most fun, but that's how you get better. And just watching you guys grow in such a challenging environment, COVID hasn't been fun for anybody. The logistics of practice was different this year. I get it, but you guys handled it so well, and you guys should be proud of yourselves the way you grew from the end of July until the end of the season. Each and every one of you, I think, got better throughout the season, and that's what we're looking for, and that's what we need. So I guess there's a couple things that come to mind when I think of our season in review, and if Coach Bannett wants to add anything to this, he's certainly more than welcome. One of the defining moments for me when looking back on this season is the way you guys handled the adversity at Elder. Elder came out and they hit us in the mouth. Nobody's denying that. But you guys responded, and you didn't let it derail your season. And the way you guys responded showed me something about you as a football team and as individuals. That's a challenge that I think during the first half of the Elder game maybe you weren't ready for. But I think as the game progressed into the second half and then the rest of the season, you guys showed that you are capable of rising to the challenge. And I think that was true to finish the year when, thanks to Coach Kessinger, we got to finish the season with St. X. And I guess I can take this off, can't I? Sorry. I forgot I had it on. When we got to finish the year with St. X, that was our test to see if we learned anything from Elder and learned anything from that challenge. And I think we certainly proved ourselves to be ready for the challenge of St. X. You guys fought your tails off in that game. Yeah, we lost, and I get it. It's, forgive me for saying this, but it's not always about wins and losses, especially at the freshman level. It's about looking in the mirror, figuring out who you are. And you guys stood toe-to-toe with St. X, and, I am, and Coach Kester backed me up on this, I'm confident that they were shocked by the fight that you guys gave them. They expected to steamroll you, and they didn't, and that's a credit to you. All right? Is there anything else anybody would like to add, Coach? Okay. So, what's that?
Go to the East and win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the one. So, I have not looked up this stat. As I understand it, we have not had a ton of success against Columbus East in the last 10, 15, maybe 17 years. And from what I hear, you freshmen are the first Floyd Central football team to play Columbus East and beat them in the last at least 10 years. So you should certainly be proud of that. And that shows you, I think, what I was talking about before. Competing with a team like St. X, that should give you all the confidence. You can beat anybody in our conference. Columbus East has got this, sort of this perception of they're unbeatable for us. But I don't think that's true. And, I'll give you a little anecdote. When I played, Columbus East was nothing. And so what that tells me is that we can get to where we need to be, and we can get to where we're beating Columbus East year in, year out, rather than going to Columbus East and expecting to lose, because that's not what our program's about. And so you guys certainly proved that this year. You won. You beat them, and that's a credit. So, all right, with that said, I think we're going to do certificates. So I'm hopeful that you guys know how to line up in alphabetical order. Can you do that?
Professor, go ahead and come up.
If you're confused, it's in the program. So are we bumping elbows? Knuckles, what?
I guess. Yes.
All right. First up, Darius Atkins. Darius Atkins. Come up and get your certificate. Darius did a phenomenal job as wide receiver. He's our jet sweep guy for sure. What I was most impressed with about Darius this year is your defensive skills. On the defensive side of the ball, you came in late in the year, contributed on defense, and I enjoyed it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can we do, we got to do.
We gotta shake hands.
Okay.
We got hand sanitizer.
All right. Make sure your hands sanitized.
on out.
Thanks. All right. Next up, Noah Bannett. Outside linebacker, Noah Bannett. Noah's going to use those wrestling skills and put them to good use in football, right? How's wrestling going?
Pretty good.
All right, good. Thank you. All right. Banks? Banks here? Nope. No Banks? No Blake? All right. Donovan? Is Donovan here? Donovan Barker? All right, Mr. Brown, Justin Brown. Our big force in the middle. Anybody who watched the game this year, any one of our games knows that he's a force to be reckoned with. I've got high hopes of bringing this guy to the offensive side of the ball a little more, but I understand you're needed on defense. So, good season. Thanks.
Thank you.
All right. You look sharp, too. Mr. Burris. Our defensive back, Burris. The man with a million questions. Ain't that right, Coach Kester? Hey.
Limited to only 3 of practice.
He was. He was limited to only 3 of practice.
Yeah.
But we enjoyed it.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Is Tanner here? Tanner Conway. There he is. Our freshman team, deep threat, always with the fade.
Yeah.
Hey, great season.
Thank you.
Mr. Driggs. Mr. Driggs, how you got assigned to the defensive line, I'll never know, but we enjoyed it, and you gave your effort, your maximum effort every practice. And no kicking, all right? Okay. Mr. Early. Sneaky funny. Mr. Early, middle linebacker. I got so many good things to say about you. You always brought a smile to my face. I know that. This guy too, Mr. Everard, Cohen Everard. Cohen's always one for a good laugh and always one to take a little prodding himself, right? This is a pleasure. Mr. Fisher, a.k.a. Fairfield. How am I going to call plays next year if you're not going to tell me what plays to call?
I don't know, Coach.
I enjoyed it. Good season. Gannon Gershutz. Another force in the middle on the defense. Gannon progressed a lot this year. I enjoyed it. Enjoyed watching you grow. Gibson here? No. Mr. Halson.
We get one big picture.
Mr. Halson, offensive line, defensive line. I enjoyed getting you in at the end of the year. It was good. Keep it up. Keep up the hard work. Mr. Hibbs. Okay. Another DB, right? Yeah. Force on defense. Our defense was good. Got better at the end of the year, didn't it?
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you. Hibden. Another O-line, D-line combo. Hibden was hurt a little bit at the end of the year, but he came on late, didn't you, Nolan?
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Coach.
Caden Hauser. The hair. I like everything about Caden Hauser except he's a USC fan. I don't know what to do about that. I enjoyed coaching him this year. Thank you. Mikey Howe? No? Isaac Hunt. Our anchor on the offensive line. Isaac had a great year. Learned a lot. Did you play football last year?
Yes.
You did? You grew a lot this year, didn't you? Not this way, but this way. I enjoyed it. Good coaching you. Keep up the hard work. Mr. Kerr? Nope. Mr. Lang? Another presence on the offensive line. Had a good season. Had to miss the end for COVID, right?
No.
No, you were there. That was after.
Wrestling.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Good deal. Mr. Lockhart. This is our jack of all trades, Sam Lockhart. Sam did just about everything for us on the offensive side of the ball. A little bit of running back, backup quarterback, receiver, filled in late in the year. All right, Mr. Lorfing. Another offense D-line combo. Good season, Griffin. It's good to see you. Griffin was hurt a little bit at the beginning of the year, but came on late. McCullough, Parker McCullough. Parker's our center. Did you play any defense? You didn't. You didn't play much defense, did you? Center, long snapper. Good season. McIntosh, Andrew McIntosh. Our reserve offensive lineman, filled in when needed. Did a good job. Max not here. Mr. Oakes, Jason Oakes. I'll tell you what, Hunt and Oaks on that left side of the line, that's a force to be reckoned with. Jason, you got a lot better this year too.
Thank you.
Grant Pop? No Pop? Mr. Purley. I would venture to say that Purley hates me more than anybody on this team. God love Purley because we gave him a lot of stuff and you took it in stride and knew that we were just having fun, making you a better football player, and we enjoyed it. Yeah. Kickers. Kalen Rice. Kalen missed the beginning of the year, but came on late, filled in defensive back. Did pretty well at corner, and then even filled in on that wide receiver, right?
Yep.
A little bit. Ethan Roberts. Ethan was a heck of a defensive end. Next to Sam, he may have been the jack of all trades on offense. He played fullback. You're always happy to fill in. Fullback, running back, wherever you're needed. Quarterback, Tristan Robertson. I had fun coaching you this year. Good job. Andrew Rogg. Defensive line, defensive end. Rogg's going to be a heck of a football player.
I hope so.
You don't hope so. You work for it. You will be, I promise. Jacob Shackelford, cornerback. Jacob was always happy to fill in anywhere too. He's always trying to fill in a receiver. I enjoyed that, having to tell you, get in there. Cole Simpson. No limp, right? There you go. Cole broke his leg late in the year. We were all kind of upset about that because he's a presence on our offensive side. Him and his twin brother, Dakota. Dakota. Now, you'll have to forgive me. You were tackle, right tackle. Your brother was right guard, or you were right guard?
I was guard. Coach.
Guard. You were right guard. All right. This is you guys are gonna be a force to be reckoned with too. Leif Triplett, the man, the myth, the legend. Hey, I will tell you one of my favorite memories of Leif is in that St. X game. Good season. I'll tell you about Leif. So Leif, we were all kind of had deer caught in headlights look. St. X, they were hooting and hollering. And the game started, and we were kind of flat. And Leif, are you the smallest guy on the team?
Yes.
Pretty close, right? There's one guy that I know with 100% certainty showed up to play against St. X that day, and that was Leif. Leif caught passes. He did everything he needed to do, and everything was asked of him. He's fighting for yards, fighting for first downs, and I loved it. I enjoyed watching that. So, good job. All right.
Pressure stepper for a minute. As you can see, there's 37 of them. Very proud of this group, okay, for what they through COVID. Oh, thank you. Through COVID and everything going on, not having spring, summers basically missed the whole summer almost. I'm really pleased with their efforts and how much they improved with the whole new offense and the defensive scheme. It was truly awesome. The other thing. Some people think I don't watch enough or I don't pay attention to these guys. I watch the films. I'm unfortunately not always able to go on Saturdays. But one thing that I loved and I look forward to every week was when these guys played our JV guys. We did a thing we started about week 4, and the first week, I'll be honest with you, these guys got shellacked. It was pretty embarrassing to the point where we go back in the coach's office and I'm like, I don't know if we should do that again because I'm afraid these guys aren't going to come back. But they stepped up to the challenge. We continued to do it, and by the end of the year, there was betting going on. No money, physical, but it was good. I was really pleased. And we were talking about Triplett just a minute ago. I'll never forget Triplett. One day shows up to practice with these Superman socks on, these dumb capes. And I am just giving him hell for these dang socks. And it happened to be that day. We're playing JV. And I think the first, 3 plays, we get stuffed, the freshman gets stuffed by the JV, and JV's talking mad smack and everything, and then all of a sudden we call a slant route to triplet. He catches that ball, those darn little capes running, gets smoked and gets up, and he's hooping and hollering. The very next day, he's got those capes on again. It's good. I mean, I was very pleased with these guys' effort. We talk about, when you talk about growth, it's not about wins and losses, okay, with growth for me, especially as a freshman. Growth to me is what you learn and how you perform. And we had some guys in here that physically couldn't get in a stance to start the season. Offensive lineman, defensive lineman, saying they couldn't get it done. And by the end of the year, it's second nature to them. We got guys that couldn't make sprints. By the end, they're making sprints. Okay, we got guys that want to talk terminology, and they're talking terminology at the end. So the growth that these guys had, the future is very, very bright. And there's 37 of them, as you can see. I mean, this is a huge class. We talk about how big our senior class is today of 20. If these guys all stick together, this will be by far my biggest senior class, and probably go down the record books as maybe one of the biggest senior classes at Floyd Central ever, if all 37 of these guys stick around. So I'm very pleased with your efforts. I'm excited for the future, what the future holds for you guys, and thank you for being here today. So our freshman football team, guys. Go ahead and go sit down. You guys go back to your seats. Can you hand me those papers? Yes. Those. Okay. Yeah, we're going to go sophomores next. Okay, at this time, usually we start talking about our JV season and our sophomores, which we're going to continue to do. It's just a little different this year. Your sophomore year is a very odd year. Your freshman year of football, your sophomore year of football is a very odd year. And what I mean by that is, you don't necessarily have a true sophomore game. Thanks, Coach. You physically might not be ready to make that jump to varsity, but you're more physical on JV than what you probably should be with some of the teams we play. So it's just a very odd year to fall into place. And it's been like that for years. Even when I played in high school, your sophomore year was odd. And the adversity that these kids take, you have no idea. I mean, they get called in weekly or at practice. They're told they're moving a position because maybe they grew 2 inches over the summer, or maybe they put on 20 pounds and they used to be a DB and they still think they're a DB, but now you're an outside linebacker. So your sophomore year is really where we start to fit you into where you fit at varsity if you're not there yet. And there's 7 gentlemen in here today that fit in our JV, and they all grew and are extremely talented. I'm very pleased with their efforts this past season. I want to see where they go. The other thing, too, is when we're such senior dominant, some of these guys actually probably could have played varsity last year. The problem is, though, when you got 20 seniors that had a very, very talented group, you got to wait your turn. And that's where these guys are at. And these guys next year as juniors will have an opportunity to show their talents on the field. But tonight we're going to talk about their JV season. Okay, their JV team went 7-2. Their 2 losses are to Elder and to East. Very impressed with the changes that we've had with coaching staff and positions, moving some guys around. Was extremely pleased with their efforts. The other thing that JV happens all the time is, Friday night we have a key injury, and all of a sudden now maybe our starting JV right guard is now playing Friday night, and he gets taken out of the lineup. So these guys' abilities to adapt and still come out with a 7-2 record is truly amazing, and very proud of these young individuals. So these sophomores, the sophomores that we have here currently, I ask that you come up, line up behind the table. Coach Bannett will hand you your certificate, and then you'll come up on stage. These guys, they get pummeled at practice. You can ask Seth Anders himself. If he's not going against Zen this year, he was going against Hyatt. And then if he was lucky enough, he got Trace Richards. So, the fact that these guys stick it out, it only is going to make it better down the road. Okay, but these guys truly are the heart of our team this past season. So Seth Anders, come on up. Seth is number 72. He played offensive defensive line for us. Like I said before, he gets pummeled in practice quite a bit by three guys that are going to go play college football. But that pummeling that he takes now will help him in the future and hopefully get him into college and play some football too. So, Seth, thank you, bud. Will you walk down and line up over there, okay? Next one is Biebelhauser. Excuse me. Sorry, Biebelhauser. Next sophomore was Dakota Bennett. Dakota couldn't be with us tonight. Next is Cody Biebelhauser. Cody played quarterback, DB, little wide receiver for us. He also plays baseball for Floyd Central. Cody has a very bright future ahead of him, and hopefully he can show those talents next year on the field. Okay, he's another guy that in practice, he gets pummeled a lot. He ran a lot of our scout team quarterback. So like we have a missed blocking assignment. Usually he's the one that takes the brunt of it, not just from the players, but also from the coaches, because he's probably got us in his ear saying, what the heck are you doing? Why are you not handing that off or throwing that pass? Or why would you stand there and get smoked? So he takes a lot in practice, but it will make it better in the coming years. And I'm very pleased that he stuck it out this year and look for him in the future. So Cody.
All right,
Thanks,
thank
bud.
you.
No problem, bud. Next, Sean Grant was not here today, number 28. He played running back and DB for us. After that is Joshua Harris, number 73. He's an O-line, D-line guy. Josh proved tremendously on the year. His knowledge of the game is so much better than what it was at the day one. Okay, once again, Josh falls into that category. He's an offensive defensive lineman, and at the varsity level, it was very tough to crack into that. But next year, he looks to crack into that starting lineup or actually playing in the varsity level. So thanks, Josh, for being here, bud. Nice tie. Jude Harris is not here today. Jude played wide receiver and linebacker for us. Colton Lloyd, okay. Number 24, running back, linebacker. Lloyd's, unfortunately, this year was whittled by injuries, basically the whole entire year. Lloyd was one of those kids at the beginning of the year was getting looked at, getting some varsity playing time, and then he has a back injury that kind of plagued him all year. We're hoping to get that fixed and get him back on the field next year. So Colton Lloyd. Thanks, Colton. Jace Robinson. Okay, Jace Robinson played running back and linebacker. He also wrestles for Floyd Central. Jace is one of those kids we talk about your growth. Jace actually played DB as a freshman, okay, and he didn't do anything wrong. He just got taller and he got more physical, and we moved him to linebacker, and he seems like he's thriving there. So we're looking for him to have some big impacts at the varsity level next year. Jace also runs the football, and he might not get as many reps in practice as he would like, but when he gets in there on Saturday mornings, he was very explosive, hard-nosed running kid, and most likely you'll see his name in the papers in the coming future. So, Jace Robinson. Alex Sadler should be next. Alex is a linebacker, running back kid. Alex is an extremely hard worker, weight room kid. Works hard. His knowledge is getting there. Okay, he's starting to learn the positions more. He's reading better as a linebacker. He's getting more physical, running the football downhill, and we look for him to have a very bright future in Floyd Central. Alex Sadler. And the last one is Todd. His socks ain't as good as Coach Bragg's today. Ziegler. Okay, Todd is wearing some nice flamingo socks, just like Coach is, but mine have Christmas hats on it, so mine trump his. So they're still not as good as Triplets Superman socks, but oh well. But Todd plays O-line, D-line for us. Todd is one of the happiest people I know. And if I'm having a bad day or I want to kill Coach Hess, I literally punch him in the face at the 7th hour. The first person I'll go to is Todd. I'll look at Todd. I'll say something, Todd, and Todd will be like, what? And I'm like, it's the funniest thing I've ever heard of. Okay? So Todd plays offensive and defensive line for us, number 75. He's had an injury too. He's got a bum leg right now, but we're trying to rehab him back in, and hopefully he can bust in the lineup next year. So Todd Ziegler. Thanks, Todd. Like I said, these are our sophomores that played JV this past season. Extremely talented group. Okay, I really look forward to them in the future. Like I said, there's only 7 of them here today. We still have another 5 to come later tonight. But this group right here, they stick together. They have opportunity to do some very impressive things in the near future. So our sophomore football players this year. You guys go have a seat. Thank you, Coach Bennett. Okay, so this at this point we would just keep going down. Usually we bring up our juniors next, or our full JV. Then we get to our varsity. Our Booster Club president would come up. We would do awards, all conference, and then our closings. And unfortunately, like I said, during this pandemic, I don't want to reveal who won what awards and all that right now. So we're going to go ahead and move to the closing here. Once again, inside your pamphlet, there's a whole bunch of names that help make the season go. First off, the other thing I want to thank is everybody at the beginning of the year. And there's so many people, I'm not going to start saying them, but the people just donated items that we needed. From the waters to the actual coffin coolers, what I call them, to the pull carts, to make sure that we had enough, we're hydrated throughout the season. I don't know if everybody understands how big of a hassle that was and how much it took to organize it, but our managers and our parents did an extremely good job of that I really didn't have to worry about it. And I was really grateful to see our community really tag or team up and get that done for us. And I want to thank the Booster Club again for making that happen, and whoever was involved in getting all that water, Gatorade, everything. I'd like to thank our bus drivers, okay, for keeping us safe on the roads and moving us along, making sure everybody got to their destinations on the games, even the elder game, which we were told to board a ferry at the varsity level, and the bus driver looked back at me and goes, hell no, and just kept driving. But we got there, but I'll never forget that. But I want to thank them for keeping their cool heads on everything and allowing our boys at times to eat on the bus and to enjoy the season. I'd like to thank Dr. Willman, Jeff Sequeira, Dr. Velker, Jody Johnson for working with me during the year. Teresa, working through the year with the mask and making sure we could have this tonight and all that they do for me at school. And the one person, Myra Willis moved on this year. She's still in the building. She helped me do some of the banquet stuff. But Tracy Reed is a new secretary for athletics. And for her to take the job during the pandemic and then week one, for me to come in and some of the things that usually Myra did for me or I needed from her eyes got really big. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll make it through it. And all the hard work she does for our football team, people really don't know all what she does. I mean, she makes a big contribution to the football team in her time and her efforts at school. And I do really appreciate her for that. And the other guys I want to thank real quick, I want to thank Nagel and Brian Pirtle and Bison Pirtle for helping us this year quite a bit. Brian did a lot on the behind the scenes. We had some issues with water carts and tires and stuff, and Brian Rogers also helped with that. But Nagel and Bison were former players of mine that in a pinch we needed some help running the clocks and making sure Friday night worked smoothly. And those two guys stepped up, and I really do appreciate that. And that just goes to show, like, even when you leave the program, if you want to make a difference, you still can. And I'm very proud of those guys. So I'm trying to think, did I miss anything? Sorry, did I miss anything, Coach Hess? This one. Okay, at that time, we're done. Okay, and like I said, it's a little different than normal. I will say this, we're already in the weight room. Okay, and with the COVID the way it is right now, this is a little different than what we've done before. Usually we lift during school. Then after school, we're real quick, about half hour, 45 minutes, then we're done. And with COVID going on, we have to go from 4 to 5:15, 4 days a week. I can't emphasize it enough that it's very important for you guys to be there, to get where we're at. The guys behind us, and when you walk out and you see their posters and everything, that just doesn't happen by them just waking up every morning and showing up to school. That's them working their butts off in the classroom and then also out on the field and in the weight room to get where they're going to be. We got potentially have 13 seniors going to go play college football. I've never had that before. I've been doing this 12 years as an assistant in the head. I've never had that many seniors leave that are going to go play a collegiate sport. And that's awesome. But that goes to show how much it's important for you to be here in the weight room and anything that we do. So having said that, in December, we are Monday through Thursday, 4 o'clock to 5:15. If you're in wrestling or basketball right now, enjoy your season. Okay, but anytime you can get in the weight room or get with Coach Gumble, I highly encourage you to do so. Okay. The other thing, and I know Coach Gumble couldn't be here, but we wanted to make sure you guys understood this. You guys are at home right now. Okay. You need to eat. Okay. There is absolutely no reason in here why any of you are losing weight. Okay, and I know that seems a little off topic, but as football players and as young men, your bodies are growing. So if you're sitting at home in front of your computer, it's okay to have a healthy snack there and make sure your body weight is staying up. Okay, I know Coach Gumbel was all over you, and he wanted me to emphasize that. He's going to talk about that tonight, but you guys shouldn't be losing any weight right now. You should be gaining weight, maintaining what you have. Okay, being healthy. Okay, now don't grab a Doritos or what is that, early Cheez-Its that you like to eat, or what is it, Cheetos?
No, it's Doritos.
Doritos, yeah. Get off the Doritos and pick up the apple slices, okay? But we still need to be eating. You can if you want, yeah. Oh yeah, sorry. Brian, you want to? Or you just want, okay. Mr. Rogers is going to come up and talk, and this will be more directed to the people listening at home than you guys.
First of all, congratulations, guys, on your season. I really want to thank the Booster Club, all the Booster Club parents for everything that they did. This was a year, when it started, we didn't even know if we were going to get game one. Just to let you know how much work was put in so you guys could have a season. Leslie, Carrie, and Rochelle and I had many calls with Coach, and it was really confusing because if you think about it, only 9 states did a full football season this year out of the 50 states in the union. So you're part of the top 10. That's good. And when it came to the meals, freshmen, a lot of you guys don't know how they usually were, but for the sophomores, let's face it, sometimes we thought it really stunk, right? Prepackaged food, being fed in the stadium, and all that stuff. But just like you guys worked to get better, like you did this season, we continued to work to get it to the point where we were back in the cafeteria and back giving you the meals that we were normally used to serving, all right? We got a setback, and instead of throwing the towel in, we dug in deep. We asked for help from the Highlander community. Everybody came, and I was truly surprised of the support that you guys got from the community. We're talking about businesses that were shut down, couldn't serve. They were laying off their workers, and they were donating to the FC football program. They were whatever we needed. When it came to the meals, we're saying, we knew what we needed. We knew we were going to be over budget, and the generosity just kept pouring in. And it didn't just happen, when something bad happens, a lot of times people are there for the first couple of weeks and then it tapers off. It never quit all season long. Everybody was calling, do you need more water? I mean, we actually had to tell people, don't bring any water yet because we really didn't have any more room underneath that stadium to put it. And we have probably 3 more skids of water that could have showed up. That's just telling you what the community did. So if you remember all the banners you walked by, all the company names and different things like that, think about that. They stood behind you guys the whole way, and they were willing to do whatever Coach needed. When he needed something, it probably a phone call, a few text messages, and we made it happen. The creativity this year to make things happen, I'm really appreciative of. How do we get you guys a somewhat normal season? And I'm very, very proud to be a part of the Booster Club, but mostly, I'm just a person that the information came into. It's everybody in the Highlander Nation that made it work. So I don't know if you all know who they are, but if Leslie, Rochelle, and Carrie would stand up. These 3 worked tirelessly, and I think they need a great round of applause for what they've done. All right, and with that, this is also when we changed the board. And as 2 senior parents, myself and Rochelle, we'll be no longer on the board. We'll be going on and watching you from the stands as a fan. But I want to introduce Carrie, who will be our new president. And Nicole will be the secretary. And then Crit Fisher will be the vice president. And then our treasurer will stay on, Leslie, and hopefully you guys will have a great 2021 season. They're already working on ideas stuff like the fundraisers and the stuff that they do. So when you see them, just say thank you, because they've put a lot of work in to make sure you guys got what you needed to be successful. And it's just not you guys working out in the weight room. You'll see the parents, we're working out differently, but we're always preparing to give you guys a great season. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Brian. A couple more thanks for the night, and then we'll get out of here. First of all, I'd like to thank Wayne Tibbs for doing live streaming this tonight on Facebook. I also like to thank Mr. Wright for making a video tonight, which will be posted out later tonight. And lastly, and most importantly for me, I'd like to thank the wives of my coaching staff, especially my wife. I have 4 kids at home. Most of your sons have probably seen my harem, I guess, or my herd, running everywhere at practice. If you drive by late in the season, it's not too unnormal for you to look and maybe see one of my kids on my hip, another one standing by me blowing a dang whistle, and trying to give the kids the business too. And that's because their mom needs a break at home a little bit. So, but no, I really do appreciate everything my wife does. I mean, when we talk about a coach's wife, she really gets it. She'll make us food on Saturday mornings when she doesn't have to. Friday night, she stays up for me, waiting to get home, good, bad, or indifferent. And I really do appreciate everything she does for me. So I'd like to thank not just my wife, but all the wives for sharing their husbands for over 4 months of the year. So with that being said, we're done, okay? I hope to see all of you tomorrow in virtual class and then see most of you after school. So thanks for coming, guys. Have a good night.